Good morning and welcome to Adaptive Chicago Productions. On this very hot Wednesday morning, the 27th of May, 2026, I have to say that because a month from yesterday is my 73rd birthday. Once a month, we do disability-related shows on a variety of different topics. This month, I have two guests here, Debbie Pittman and Kim Liddell, talking about the Progress Center for Independent Living, with which they've had extensive work with for many years. Good morning and welcome to the show, both you, Debbie and Kim.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having us join you.
Okay, so
thank you.
So here we are. Debbie, tell us a little about Progress Center.
Well, Progress Center is an organization that is, there has two offices. The first office is in Forest Park at 7521 West Madison in Forest Park. And then the Blue Island office is at 12920 Southwestern in Blue Island. And Progress Center is an organization that serves people with disabilities across all walks of life with various disabilities in the Cook County area.
Thank you very much.
Mostly suburban, but wherever they won't turn anyone away who wants to request services.
That's very good to know. Thank you for telling us that, because there are probably a lot of people out there that still are not familiar with the services. And there are, I'm sure that there are a lot of disabled people we don't know, and it's good that they can get this information. Now, Kim, I'm going to turn to you. Kim, tell us about SHIP.
Okay, thank you. SHIP is an acronym, and it stands for Senior Health Insurance Program. And in the state of Illinois, there are certified SHIP counselors, and I happen to be one of those. I've been a SHIP counselor since 2013.
Wow.
Yes. So the whole purpose of this is to help people to navigate and understand Medicare, Medicare Advantage plans, Medicaps or supplements, drug plans, etc. And it is overwhelming when somebody turns 65. Before they turn 65, they're already getting tons and tons of mail from all of the insurance companies that are approved by CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, to send, to provide health insurance coverage. So, and they're overwhelmed by that. It's just so much information, and we're there to help them to sort it all out so they can make informed choices. Some people might feel original Medicare with a Medigap supplement plan is bad, and other people are happy with the Medicare Advantage plan.
Yeah, well, it being a government bureaucracy, it would be overwhelming because, they're after every little detail. So, yeah, I certainly understand the overwhelming part of it. I've been there, done that with these agencies.
Well, now you know who to call for.
Exactly.
And it's something to always check every year. Always review your current plan every year, between October 15th and December 7th, so that you can make a decision to change if you need to. Because you might get comfortable with a plan that works well, but then they can and do make changes. So it's important to see what the changes are.
Yes, they do. Then not only do they make changes, they don't tell you about the changes they've made. It's pretty much is you find them out when you fall over them. So that's how it is. Okay, now Debbie, I'm going to turn back to you. Debbie, there was a recent event in Blue Island with a park. Would you talk about that?
Yes. There was a waterfall. The waterfall park grand opening was in Blue Island on May 8th. And this was put on through the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And this park is been established, and it is an accessible park. It's an accessible waterfall park. There is a ramp to go down into the park. It's a concrete ramp, and you can walk on it. It's nice and wide. When you get down into the park, it's a like concrete surface that people in wheelchairs can go across on that concrete flat surface that's easy to maneuver on, even for crutches or walkers. It's very nice. And even in front of this park, what should I say, in front of the waterfall, it's beautiful. It has a big, huge plaque up on the wall, up on a board that has Braille, UEB Braille. Kim, would you say that plaque was about 2 feet or 3 feet wide?
It seemed to be that way, yeah.
And it
was
was
a nice
full
size
of
sign.
Braille, nice sharp Braille, telling about the waterfall, and it was really, really nice. Progress Center worked with the Water Reclamation Department to help with that process, to get that in place so that that park would be accessible to everybody.
Cool.
And it was really, really beautiful. It was really
that's
beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, Kim, I want to turn to you now. Kim, what did you think of the park?
I thought it was great. It was a fabulous day with the weather being so nice. Here we were worried about rain, and it turned out to be a nice, beautiful day in the low 70s. And it was just so fabulous to be there near the waterfall, hearing the waterfall, smelling the scents from the trees and the water, and to be there with others that were on scooters and in wheelchairs, etc. So it was just really cool. It was a nice, relaxing day, and it was such a good turnout.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you for worrying about the rain, because last year the NFB picnic was, the annual NFB picnic that we always have at the end of July, was rained out. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, Debbie, what are some of the other things Progress Center is involved in?
Progress Center is involved in a lot, and in fact, we have a monthly calendar with various support group meetings, starting from about the second Tuesday of the month, going all the way through about the fourth Thursday of the month.
Wow.
There's some kind of meeting going on, either be it membership and outreach, or the LaTanya Reeves Freedom Act meeting, or Kim's meeting, which she has on the fourth Tuesday of the month. There's always something going on to be able to empower people with disabilities to learn how to advocate for themselves, as well as finding out about available services. And in fact, Progress Center will be part of an event that is happening tomorrow. LaTanya Reeves Freedom Act is a young lady who she's passed, but her issue was that came out of her name, this act that came out of her name was tied to the ability for people with disabilities to not be limited to the living in the nursing homes, that they had the freedom to live wherever they choose to live. And in fact, there is a lawsuit that is going on now that will be, Progress Center will be attending that hearing tomorrow at the Dirksen building to address the issue of there's a piece of that law that is not being followed through by Illinois. And so this lawsuit came about. And so we're going to be there to hear what's going on with that. Another service that Progress Center offers is the ITAC program, which Kim can tell you about.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's coming up next. Kim, what is ITAC?
Well, it's an acronym. So I for Illinois, T for telecommunication, A, access, C, corporation. Okay, and it's based out of Springfield, and it's a program that is tax-based where everybody actually pays a 2-cent tax on their cell phone bill and or landline bill. You know, landline phones are kind of dwindling down, but they're still in existence. But the whole point of the program is to provide access to communication via telephone. So it's all about hearing loss and deafness. And it also includes speech disabilities. So, for example, somebody with any kind of hearing loss, they can apply to A, get an amplified phone equipment for the house if they have an existing landline phone bill, and then B, they can also apply for a free iPhone, which is #1 leading in accessibility features by Apple. So that's why ITAC introduced the iPhone 2 years ago into the program, because landline phone uses are going down, but iPhones are very common now, and it's so nice for people with hearing loss to apply and get that, where, guess what? You don't have to lease or buy an iPhone. You can, get enrolled into the program, and of course you have to have it certified by an audiologist or a nurse practitioner, or doctor, or even a DRS, Division of Rehab Service counselor. But once you're in the program, you can get that set up, and then the key thing is Bluetoothing hearing aids to the iPhone. That's what's so critical, and it makes a huge difference, because people have difficulty holding their phone up and trying to get it lined up with the hearing aid without it squealing, or a lot of times people hold the receiver over the ear, but then when you wear a hearing aid, you got to hold the phone up a little higher to fit over the hearing aid that's on top of the ear for many people. But the whole point is it's there. Please reach out to us, and we will help you apply for that. And once you're in the program, you can renew it every 3 years.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes, yeah.
Again,
this is for Illinois residents too.
That's what this program is all about, and that's why we've expanded to where our shows now go on YouTube, because prior to our shows going on YouTube, we were only able to reach people within the city limits, and I'm glad we've been able to change that. Okay, now for the next question, Debbie, you mentioned a transportation committee. Is there anything we need to know about paratransit?
Okay, so yes, there is something going on with paratransit. RTA has decided to give the riders 10 additional rides in regards to TAP and RAP. But you're not just getting those rides. You have to sign up for them. And then once you sign up for them, from the day that you sign up for them, those rides will be available 60 days after you have signed up. And you can call in to 312-913-3110, or you can go through the website if you can do it on the computer. You can go to the website pacebus.com, and then under the heading of other accessible transportation, you need to choose Rideshare Access Program. And then at the bottom of that Rideshare Access Program, you will see a page for RAP enrollment form. And that's where you would fill out the form. But otherwise, if you don't have access to a computer to be able to do it on your own, you can call the 312-913-3110 and choose the option for paratransit. And then once you get a human being, let them know that you don't have the ability to do it through the internet, and they will sign you up.
Good. That's good. That's good to know, because there are people that don't have access to the internet, and they're not just few and far between either. Next question. Kim, you talked some about using the Uber app.
I do. I was one of those people that actually got text notification from Pace, and I jumped right on it when I received notice, more than 2 years ago they were introducing RAP, Rideshare Access Program. So I was really excited. So I've been using it frequently. I am a frequent flyer, person of the RAP program. So I think what's important for people to know, that if you are blind and have a service animal, I think it's important for people to realize they can create a profile in the accessibility section in the account setting, so that you can put down, I put down that I have a service animal, and it asks what the task is, what does the dog do, and I put guide me. And then there was a second area where for hearing loss, so somebody with hearing loss, you can put the drivers on notice that you have hearing loss. So it's important for drivers to be aware of that, so that they can call out to you or speak up, which is really nice. It really is nice. And I think it's important for people to build this profile, especially if you have a service animal, because when you do this, and then once in a while you get a driver that decides they don't want to pick you up because of the service animal, right?
And they're going to take advantage of what they think you don't know.
Well, and that's true. That's true. But the point that I'm trying to bring up is, when you set up your profile with a service animal, and a driver is within 100 feet, 50 feet, and then they stop, and all of a sudden you're canceled, what happens is it automatically sends a notification to Uber. I get an email within a minute from Uber support, about service animal support, apologizing for the incident, and it's up to me to reply saying, yes, go ahead and investigate it. But the other benefit of this now too is it initiates rerouting to a new driver. I don't need to redo my request for the ride. So they streamline the process.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which is beautiful. I just love it.
It's fantastic to let people know all of this stuff because, you know, again, I can't stress enough that there are probably a lot of people with disabilities out there we don't know. I really believe our community is larger than we think it is. Anyway, last question. What is your next upcoming big event?
Our next upcoming big event is our annual meeting. And that meeting will be held on June 20th in Cicero, Illinois, at the Cicero Community Center at 2250 49th Avenue in Cicero. And it will be from 11 to 3.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I want to know if you guys, either of you, have any final thoughts.
Well, one thing I do want to say, for that annual meeting, you do need to RSVP by June 8th, and you can do that by calling Progress Center at 708-209-1500, or you can email Demetra Karas, and that's D as in David, K as in kangaroo, A R A S as in Sam at progress CIL .org.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for being guests on Adaptive Chicago Production. And we're closing out for now, so have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Emily Dabweteme at the Protection of Chicago, which makes a monthly show for people with disabilities. Every month we have meetings. You are welcome to join us so that you can attend a meeting. And at the end of the month, bring a guest to talk about issues affecting people with disabilities and what they need to help them. Thank you so much.